So here are the parts you actually need to make the grinder. There's a bunch of stuff that we include because we reworked the grinder, and I showed you in the photograph all the stuff that you don't need. You do need the scale, the two pads to stick the scale. You need the pads to stick the portafilter handle on, the hopper, and the grinder. Okay? And we include a screwdriver for doing that all. So here's how I do it, is I lean this back, like so, and then I take these screws out, these feet. And you take the front 3 feet off. Now you're going to take this, and this is going to slide right over here, and you'll see how it lines up with the holes for the feet. Okay? And what I'm going to do is screw this in, but not really, really tightly, because I want to be able to adjust it. Okay, so I'm just going to check to make sure I can slide this forward. I can, just barely. Now I'm going to rock this upright again, like so. Okay. And now I'm just going to check the position, because once you glue this on, that's pretty much it. So the power button should be on the right-hand side, like so. Okay, that's how it's going to be built. It's a good idea to get a portafilter at this point, so that you can see if everything lines up. So I'm going to go find the portafilter. So I got my portafilter, and I'm just going to check that everything's about right. What you want is you want the portafilter to just clear this right here. And right now it's not. All right, you can see it's bumping in, because what I'm going to want to do is actually to get it something like that. And I'm trying to get it quite far forward so that when the coffee comes out here, it's going to end up going into the center. Okay? So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to adjust the height of this just to get it roughly right. And if you look in here, you can see there's some thumb screws here. Okay? And I can loosen those as well. And now the whole thing will move up and down. So let's go back. Put this here. Put this here. And put that like that. And all I'm doing now is raising this up like so. Now come from the side, and you can see what I'm aiming for is this lip here to go right over, and then I'm also would like this whole thing to be kind of like that. That's where it's going to end up. So I'm going to move things around to make that happen. Right? So I want that part to come pretty close to here, to center. Okay. So since I like the height, I'll lower that a little bit, like that. So generally I find that the lower it is, the more the mound spreads out. So that's my, my preference. So I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to tighten the hand screws now. Now you'll notice that the way I've done this right now, the scale is kind of tipping forward from here. It's not very attractive, right? And what I'm going to do is move this back a bit. And then remember, I didn't tighten this too much, so I could bump this forward. So now I'm sliding this forward. Okay, and if you come back here, you'll see that the stand is really quite close to the front of the case, but not touching. So if it touches, it'll all vibrate and rattle, and it won't work well. So that lets me now set this up where I want. And this is all, so it's all set up so that supposedly, if everything's right, this line lines up with this lines up with this, no problem, and you'll be able to rotate it in this direction with the thumb screws. Okay? So now I'm ready to actually put some glue on things. So because this and this has thumb screws that let us move it back and forth, you don't have to be super precise about it, but you don't want to cover this battery compartment. So if you cover the battery compartment, then you can't change the batteries when they die, because you'll need to take these screws off in order to take the whole thing off when this battery eventually dies. So what I'm going to do is take these big things here. They're going to go here and here. And then I'm going to just check that everything's right. And I'm just trying to put it centered like that. Okay? I'm going to take all that. Now this is 3M tape, which means that once it's on for good. So it's okay if you work slowly at this point and don't get it wrong. All right, and now remember I was trying to clear this line here, so you see me checking like that. to make sure that I don't stick onto that. So this line here has to go beyond that. So that's going to happen. And now I'm just going to center it. And if you look from the top, Alex, you see I'm just centering it and dropping it down. Okay. And now it's stuck on here, and the thumb screws are loose, so I can move it back and forth. Okay. So now I'm just tightening it just a little bit so things don't rattle around. Next we want to do is that. We're going to put that on top. And same sort of drill. Try and figure out where you want it to go. Okay. And generally it's going to be pretty far forward. And in fact, now that I've done this, you can see that my stand's a bit too low. Right? This is now getting in the way of this. So I'm going to fiddle again with this a bit more. And that means this thumb screws here for height. So that's going to go up. Like that. So now I can bump that up a little bit. And then this one over here. That goes up a bit more. More. That looks great. And all this locks down, so once you have it right, you'll never need to fuss again. Okay, now bring our portafilter back. Put them like that. And that's looking pretty good. That's kind of how I want it. Okay. So probably the stand can move a little bit closer. So, and that allows me to move my portafilter back like that. Okay. And remember it's loose, so I can move it in this direction too. All right, so now we're ready to glue that on. So I'm going to take the portafilter off, and again we've tried to do everything so that the front of this lines up with the front of that. And it isn't too bad if you get this direction wrong, since the whole scale can move. So, generally what we do is we put one like this and one like this. That's how we're going to put our pads. There we go. Okay, so close to the front edge. Like so. And the next one butts up against it like that. To there, and then I take off the next piece of wax paper. It's good to have a little bit of nails on your fingers if you want to try and do this. All right. Now, finally, see me lining up the front here, all right? And you kind of want to get it in the center, so you don't want to go too far this way or too far this way. This is the scales measuring from the center. So here we go. Blam, that's me committed. Okay, now I can put this on here, I can move this around, and once I like it, tighten it down. Okay, and if that's still good, what I can do is, remember I tightened this here, is I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to tighten that right here. And as soon as I have one foot tightened down, the others are pretty easy to tighten without the whole thing moving. So now, take the whole thing back up again. Like so. Check to make sure, look right here, make sure that the stand is not touching the grinder. It needs to be separate. And then finally, we're going to put the portafilter on like that. One thing to note is that when coffee comes in here, it'll spin around and it won't necessarily go straight. It might go this way or that way or who knows what. It behaves the way coffee wants to behave. So you might find that you want to move this back and forth to get it perfectly centered. If your goal is to have the coffee mount right in the center. There is a set screw right here. You can use this or not, it's up to you. Put this on like that, and if you want, you can tighten this back on. Now, most people don't bother. Okay? The other thing that will catch you is when you're tightening this, you've got a screw right here, and it comes shipped already tightened. So you're gonna have to loosen that, and if you go right here, you can see it's now clearing this. Now, this is useful if you set the grind perfectly and you want to lock it down. Maybe in an office, you don't want anyone changing it. Again, we keep that loose here, and you're going to turn that way to make it finer, and this way to make it coarser. So, hope you've got your grinder working, and have fun making espresso.